Thousands of Aussies across the country have taken to the streets to throw their support behind the Yes campaign for the voice to Parliament. In Melbourne, organisers estimating 60,000 lined the streets from the State Library to Federation Square. Another 50,000 estimated to have hit the streets in Sydney.
We're here for one reason. We're here because we are going to vote yes!
Yes support spread as far as New York City as crowds gathered to march across the Brooklyn Bridge earlier this morning. The marches, part of an advertising blitz organised by the Yes campaign to combat declining poll numbers, which have fallen 21 percentage points over the past year.
Well, we spoke to Rachel Perkins at the Sydney event a little earlier. Rachel, good to see you. We spoke to you a few months ago when the Yes campaign was leading. That's obviously changed. Do you think marches like today are actually changing anyone's minds at this point?
Well, today I think we saw about maybe 150,000 people across the country come out together. And what it does is it demonstrates the power of the people and the positivity of the people, most importantly. And really, I think today in Sydney, we saw what unity looks like, and everyone's spirits are high, and so I think this is just going to be a wave that keeps building momentum right up to the 14th of October.
Yeah, we've got just under a month before we head to the polls. How are you going to turn things around?
Well, we've got advertising coming out, so we really want to just share the message with Australian people, the facts, rather than the misinformation. So it's all about having conversations with our fellow Australians, really, because not a lot of people have actually turned their mind to this, really. And so there's a big group of Australians who don't know much about it, might be undecided. So our intention is to have conversations, not robots. We've got 40,000 volunteers and growing, and those are the people like me who are having conversations all around the country. And that's the way this is going to change. We have got people power on our side.
Rachel, there's been a lot of media coverage, both good and bad, around the Yes vote. How have the past couple of months been for you and your family?
Well, look, the great thing is, for me, every day on this campaign, I meet ordinary Australians. I'm having conversations with people, and their support is so positive. It just keeps us going. Yes, we get the odd racist comment, whatever, but actually that reflects more on those people than it does us. And the majority of people we talk to are just so positive. It energises us. It energises the volunteers. It's what we're doing here, and it's the signature part of our campaign. Having conversations with Australian people, honest conversations, not spreading fear, not spreading information, just the facts, and that is going to get us through.
Rachel, I know your job is to sell this to the Australian people, but are you also confronting, maybe quietly, privately, the real possibility of defeat now?
I don't see my job as selling anything to the Australian people. I see my job as walking with the rest of Indigenous Australia together. More than 80% of Indigenous Australians support this. We've seen that here today in huge turnouts around the country. This is something we've wanted for more than 50 years, right? For 50 years we've been waiting for this. It's just a voice, it's just an advisory committee, that's all it is. And it's the recognition of Indigenous people who've been here for 65,000 years, right? So that should matter for something. I think we all agree. It's part of our nation, it's part of our identity, it's what makes us Australians. We're so proud of it. So, look, whatever happens, win or lose, we know that we have tried to bring the Australian people together, and today we demonstrated that. We saw what a united country looks like, and I can tell you, it was so inspiring. It's one of the greatest days I've ever had. It was beautiful, and October 14th is going to be beautiful too, when we bring this country successfully to referendum. So be part of the moment. This is the moment. This will never come again in our lifetime. It's a time to really show the true identity of the country. So we ask all Australians to join us. It's just within our grasp. 30 days to go.
Rachel Perkins, great chatting.
Thanks for having me.